platform just sees massive flow of data, right? It's an HR platform, an analytics platform that sees the world through numbers. And that's why I love having you on the program. I just outlined the story. Two of the biggest companies in this country and in the world cutting levels that we've not seen, but spending a lot. Is that the trade-off that companies are managing right now?
We're seeing this across the board. It's a trend in tech, Ed, and it is really important right now that we look at people and their performance and not just what they're doing with tokens or what they're doing with AI. It's very interesting right now how you see leaders that are investing in severance and not necessarily the skills. It's a transformation in tech, and we need to have leaders with the courage to take people from here to there.
You know, job cuts and roles being eliminated is not pleasant, right? You know, and if anyone from Meta or Microsoft is watching, you know, reach out, tell us what your experience has been. But what you said on performance is so interesting. So what, the managers are measuring this in revenue per employee or output per employee to make that decision?
You see a lot. You see revenue per employee. You also see tokenmaxxing as a trend right now.
In this day and age, yeah.
Yes, right. But ask yourselves, like, would you look at the person at your company that sends the most email as the most productive? Right. It's a new thing that we can use to measure. It's not necessarily the correlation to performance. And what we need to do is help people get from where we are today to where we're going to with AI.
You know, a lot of people would look at the overall size of a Microsoft or a Meta and say, you know, well, 10,000 roles or 8,000 roles is or isn't a lot to anyone's point of view. From the payroll perspective, does cutting that level really free up capital? Does it take the pressure off the finance teams?
It doesn't really relieve the pressure, and it also deeply impacts culture. Whether it's one person or 1,000 people or 10,000, it is a human. And people care about what happens to other humans. So there's a real cost on the spreadsheet. There's also a real cultural cost to what it means to lay off people.
I always try and look deeper. What's the underlying story? I remember when you and I were talking kind of more immediately after the pandemic, the idea was to undo pandemic era exuberance and hiring. Now it's, you know, it's about the AI era, right? And freeing up for CapEx. But what those two things have in common is when you see waves of layoffs to that level, there are really experienced people in there. Sometimes they go and found companies of their own.
Yeah, no, it's what we're seeing right now is a big transformation in tech, and it's not just for the companies, it's also for the people with the careers. They've spent years, decades even, working on refining their craft. And what it means to be told to change overnight. It's like me telling you, be in Europe in an hour. Unless you know how to teleport, it's not possible. But you can get there in a day. And so everybody's looking right now, how do I transform? How do I evolve with AI? And it's something that's the responsibility of leaders and also people to take it into themselves to learn as well.
I also want to make the distinction, you know, Meta is doing cuts. Microsoft is doing what I used to call in the UK voluntary redundancies, but buyouts here in America. Is there something to learn from that distinction, or it's just a different means to the same end?
It's still an investment in severance and not in the skills in your people, and that's the big difference. And so the more that we can invest in how we train people, how we get them from point A to point B, the better that we will all be, because it's a short-term gain on the spreadsheet, but a long-term loss in the knowledge that you have in the workforce.